on the podcast, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk. It's Grant's Rants Small Talk.
Let the rundown begin. We're here for another episode of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Ex-Wives Club, and joining me to run down it all, Alli Cohen. Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you for having me again.
Let's do it. Season 2, episode 4, Speakeasy and Act Tough. I have so many thoughts on the latter half of this episode, but this was a full day. Like, I feel like I'm kind of going through this trip with them.
Yes. And like I said last time with the timestamp, I think that's how they want us to feel. They want us to feel the day moving.
Yes. I feel like I'm going from activity to activity. I think it'd be great if they like had a free day or like a free afternoon. Like, it's too much to like I feel anxiety. Like, okay, everyone needs to be down here by 12 o'clock. So like, that means like, you have to take a shower, like get ready. Like, it's like, oh, that's a lot.
It's more scheduled than what I would like, for sure.
Yes.
I prefer to have a little bit of freedom on my vacation, but they're trying very hard to make good television here. I thought this episode, as opposed to the last one, which I felt to be a downer, really pepped me up. I really had a good time with it.
Yeah. This one gave you everything.
It did.
It really gave you a little bit of history of feuds. It gave you current feuds. It gave you laughs, crying, drama,
Gave
drunks.
you the start of a fight that we're going to see the rest of, which I am a fan of.
Yes. And even Brandy, I feel like we got a little bit of a break from her this week. It wasn't all about what Brandy said this week.
Right. And Taylor was back. She woke up.
Yes. Yeah. I enjoyed her this episode a lot.
Yeah.
We start off the show with Jill making her famous chocolate chip banana bread that no one has ever heard of.
I haven't.
And this is just basically my point of view. This is because she's bitter. She wasn't included in that lasagna bake-off. That's what I think.
Probably.
So now she needs to go into the kitchen and be like, okay, everybody move. Now it's my turn. Go ahead now.
We've woken up, and I say we've woken up. We start the episode with Jill for the past 2 episodes, and it's like a squawking bird. It's real rough. She's like, you might die and go to heaven because I have it's my famous banana bread with chocolate chips. Like, okay.
She is that morning person. She's that like person, like at the end of the bed, like, let's get ready for the day. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That's not me. That's not. I'm
God, no.
Please go in the other room, please.
Yeah. She's rough.
Brandy wakes up to an early morning text. She's sending it out to Eva, commenting and apologizing for calling Eva's husband a mangina. We're back to that.
Right.
Eva's still cool about it. She claims she's just confused about it. But what's there to be confused about? It was an insult, right?
It was an insult. Yeah, with the emoticon of the sad face. And then Brandy's very strange explanation of what she was saying. Like, she really tried to twist it around, being like, I'm just saying, like, he does so much in the house and helps you with the kids. Like, it was a sad explanation for sure.
It made no sense whatsoever. No. And she tried to like say like, oh, that's how my ex-husband was. I'm like, what? Like, no, like
he was a man giant. Like, we don't know what that means.
Oh God. Now, Dorinda, she cannot control herself throughout the whole episode, but especially with this aerobics. We're not at the actual aerobics, but like she's up, another morning person, up and ready to go. This is her moment. And I gotta say, Dorinda to me has gone down like two pegs after watching this episode.
Exactly. What I will say is I believe loving Dorinda, or at least liking Dorinda. And now, and I think I said this last time, rotten to the core. She is really awful and she behaves so terribly. She treats people so terribly.
It's too much.
It's way too much.
Yeah. Like maybe it's too much of a good thing. Like, we like Dorinda's one-liners. We like when she pops in and out and like says something crazy at the dinner table. But like, this is like almost like all Dorinda all the time. And she's the one calling the shots and making the itinerary. And it's her show. Basically, she's running the show. She really, for all intents and purposes, she's out there doing these activities. And like, God forbid, again, another day, if the women don't feel like doing it, if they're not right in front of her, like, and dressed and ready to go, they're not interested.
I know you're going to get to it, but her rules are horrendous. You have guests in your home, you treat them nicely. You don't treat them like they're, doing something wrong by being there and living. It's very upsetting. The whole her
Yeah.
and it upset me personally.
Yeah, like she had to go upstairs to get the plaque, and even Tamra was like, "Yeah, I got it. Like, I totally understand Tamra in this situation because
Oh,
it's like you're being spoken down to, talked down to, you're looked down upon, you're a guest in someone's house. It's embarrassing. And on top of it, she has to come up like this with the list and go like, this is actually like, here it is in print, but this is what you didn't see. And like, I don't think it was that serious for Tamra. I think she was
no.
more embarrassed, but it turned really serious very
So
fast.
quickly.
Dorinda going off on her saying, you people, I don't know how
Yeah.
you live. Like then it crossed a line with that. Dorinda crossed a line.
Completely. I gasped while I was watching it. She was saying, you're being rude and condescending. She was being so rude and condescending.
Yep.
And she goes, in houses like this,
Yeah.
what an elitist. Like that is so awful. And we
Not
always talk
into
about
that.
we're always talking about class on these shows. And for me, what I've grown up with is that class is making people feel comfortable and making people feel good about themselves. That's being a classy human being. Class isn't about ranking, as far as I'm concerned. I think that she is very confused about what class means. And just because you have a nice house, that doesn't make you a good person.
Well, say it with me. Money can't buy a class.
Sure can't. My friends.
Yes. I mean, Tamra, really, I felt for her this. So I was wondering, I was like, okay, these two playing the Housewives game, but Tamra cried. And I'm sure some people think this was all for TV and cameras. For me, I choose to go along with the ride with this one. I don't know. What do you think?
I would have cried.
Yeah.
I would have cried. The way that she was speaking to them, and not only, and we don't know exactly how long she was yelling at them because it kind of did a time loop, but she was yelling at them for a while. It seemed like
she was really berating them.
Yeah.
And like, then she like turned it around on them and was like, now Dorinda was the confused victim about
right.
what they were saying to her. And it's like, no. You can't like run the show and then say like, oh my God, but you guys really made me feel this way after she made them feel a certain way.
It's like gaslighting. It's complete gaslighting. And it's not doing it very well. Yeah. She's not a good gaslighter, but she disinvites Tamra.
Yes, and she does.
She says, you don't have to come.
You don't have to come then. Yeah. Okay. Well, then I wouldn't go either. I'd be like,
I would not.
Then.
I'd be like,
all right.
I don't want to do aerobics.
It's too bad because Tamra, I think, looked the best for aerobics. I loved her look. So I was, she came prepared, but it didn't work out. But then I have to laugh because there must be some poor camera guy who just hangs out upstairs at the top of that staircase, because how many housewives have we seen come and go from that one hallway down those steps, up those steps? They're always there ready to go. And
with their shoes on.
Oh, really? Did you notice that?
Well, they'll say like the shoe thing is out. Because
the characters, the housewives. Yeah. I don't know about the crew, but
I don't know.
Tamra started up and called Dorinda a bitch in her own house. Now that was kind of like ballsy, even for Tamra, But I mean, Dorinda was being a bitch. She was being a bitch.
Where's the lie?
Good point.
Going back to the shoe thing, I do know what happens with the cameramen. I saw in the first episode, Dorinda makes them put little booties over their shoes.
Okay. Well, that's appropriate. Yeah. Like, I think that's kind of common. Like,
that's fine. Yeah. If that's what, look, it is your house. I understand that you want it to look a certain way. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But when you have guests, you expect a little bit of a mess because you want them to feel at home.
Exactly. Yeah. Dorinda just being super condescending. Just like, it's just really a bad situation all around. Then we cut to everyone leaving for aerobics. Jill Zarin wanted everyone to know she was wearing Dior. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jill. No one's impressed.
No. Like 1970s. It was like the 15,000. Can you believe it?
Yeah. Was she really trying to recreate that moment? I mean,
I wonder.
Jill, it didn't happen when you walked in and tried to recreate Scary Island. Just stop trying to make it happen. Yes.
Oh,
so Vicki and Tamra won't go to this. Like, I think both of us are in sync. I don't think either of us would go. And that's why Vicki's not going. If Tamra's not going to go, Vicki sure isn't going to shag her behind down there.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so she's not going to do that. And what else happens? Dorinda's actually outside doing aerobics with a headset on with 4 girls in front of her.
Like, yeah.
It's a lot. It's all for the show. It's all for cameras.
Oh yeah.
And I'm telling you, she's not coming across very good. It's not that cute, Dorinda. I hate to say it.
It's not at all. It's not. I work out with this Obey Fitness app thing, website app. She is on it doing aerobics sometimes. I've never tried a class. I now I especially will not. But
so you're like me. You vote with your dollars. Like you're not going to support.
I'm not
feed into
supporting.
the ego.
Absolutely not. And if people don't take the class, they'll stop hiring her. So I'm not saying don't hire her. She deserves to get paid. She provides a lot of entertainment. So go ahead. I'm not going to do it.
As a consumer, you choose to not do that. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
You know me. I don't feed into anyone's ego like that. Like so,
you do not.
Yes. So there's no way. But I mean, I don't know. I want to like Dorinda, but man, she's making it really difficult in this episode.
So hard.
So what else happens? Classic Vicki and Tamra hijinks. There's a leaf on the carpet. Oh my God, there's makeup on the pillow. Like all of a sudden, everything is like too much. Like they're not comfortable. I get it, because at the end of the day, you are in someone else's home.
Right.
But I love the classic Vicki Tamra hijinks. It just warms my heart.
They were pitch perfect this episode. I had fun with them. I missed Days of Yore. I missed Vicki whooping it up. Like I think that steroid shot in her butt helped. She needed it.
Like that and a good night's sleep and a shot of brandy or whatever it was. What did they have? Whiskey?
Bourbon.
Bourbon. Oh yeah. So that did it. So Dorinda says that while they're doing the aerobics in her interview, she says that someone is trying to unfun her day. And I'm like, that's kind of you.
You literally said don't come.
You're not making it very fun. Yeah. I don't really see, like, I don't know. I find it's like your behavior is unfun. It's actually like unprofessional, but okay. And I don't want to come on this podcast and just hate on Dorinda, but like now that we're really getting into it, I'm like,
we're gonna.
Yeah. So Dorinda did tell Tamra, like you said, you don't need to go. So I don't know what she was so upset about. Then everybody has to get to the next costume to go to this tea party. It's getting a little much. I like, again, like I said last episode, I like the little moments. Correct. Where, like, you know, like Phaedra and like Taylor will have like a little side conversation. Like now it's getting to be like kind of like how the Housewives are now, very like event, fight, event, fallout, like, but.
And I think about the way I like to live in my own life when I'm going to things. Okay, I'll do a theme. That's fun. A theme for everything is exhausting. It's exhausting to do. It's exhausting to watch.
No wonder why they want to take a nap.
Yeah. And she's like,
they only have 90 minutes to do so you better get to sleep quick.
She's like, oh, at Bluestone Manor, you want to fall asleep at 4 p.m. to get ready for the next event. It's like, you have to. You woke us up. Well, Jill woke us up squawking. Yeah. And then we've had to do aerobics. We need a nap.
If I was on this trip, I would need to bring C4 with me, and I would need to bring like the adult Pedialyte, just because you got to recover fast. You need energy, and then you need to recover, and there's no time in between. Nope. So this tea party is supposed to emulate Taylor's famous party from way back in season 1. Who can not remember? Who can forget that party, the $50,000 birthday? I remember that was very controversial, but like she made a good point. She's like, that's nothing nowadays.
Kim Kardashian just like booked a jet. I think she has her own jet now, so maybe it wasn't as costly, but she did something for North's birthday. They had to like fly somewhere. Things are crazy now.
Things are crazy. And they actually leave Bluestone Manor for this, which I was glad. I was like, I would be relieved because I was like, I need to get out of this house. I can't keep going to the backyard like it's Big Brother, like every other activity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, what do you think over here? Do you think that Vicki, because this is something that was proposed, do you think that Tamra, Vicki, and Dorinda are fighting to be kind of top dog because they were the most recently fired?
The fact that Brandy's the one who said it, I said, wow, Brandy may be onto something, is what I wrote, because they are. It's true. And they all want back in. So they're trying so hard to impress, but they're not. In some ways they are, in some ways they're not. But Dorinda is a monster and needs to be stopped.
Yeah, I think they're all trying. I think they are, but I gotta say Dorinda is by far leaps and bounds more thirsty and hungry for it. Followed by maybe Tamra and then Vicki.
Yeah, well, Vicki, I think had she not been sick, she would have shown up a little bit more at the beginning.
Well, they're at this beautiful estate, and I love that Taylor mentioned that it was designed by Stanford White. He designed Bluestone Manor, but also from the Gilded Age, responsible for so much in New York City, so much in the Northeast and Newport, just a truly iconic architect and designer, and just, truly influential, and even in architecture today, and, real American figure.
I like to learn.
Yeah.
I like to learn these things. I learned something later that I'll bring up. We'll get there.
So I was impressed. I was really impressed by that. That even Taylor mentioned that. I was like, okay, now I have more of an appreciation for the setting.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Bluestone Manager. Could you imagine that he'd be turning over in his grave if he knew what was happening in that house now?
Oh, she's the overstuffed couches galore.
Oh, yeah. Tamra feels very out of place at this tea party situation.
Yeah.
And Dorinda just feels like they've just made a mountain out of a molehill. It's all on them. They've just totally done too much, team too much. And I'm like, girl, pick up a mirror when you're going to speak, please. Because getting to be very, very hypocritical. But Dorinda does feel that Vicki and Tamra do things separately. That they want to be off on their own doing things separately. I don't know. Do you pick up on that?
No. I think that Dorinda really hurt Tamra's feelings. Vicki was not going to leave Tamra, and that's just the way it is. They are friends. Yeah. The loyalty is there.
I'm all about loyalty.
Completely.
You need that friend that's going to just be by your side and, just be team you as much as possible. And I admire that in their relationship.
And I admired Vicki for saying it was my yogurt.
Yes.
Because it's like, you were starting to yell at me. Tamra's the one who threw Marco under the bus, which snitches get stitches, by the way, and said he brought it to us. But I think Vicki handled herself so beautifully this episode. And I think she's feeling better.
Wow. I know that you're not a Vicki fan. So these are big words. Yeah.
I will always give credit where credit is due. If somebody is behaving themselves in a way that I think is, the way I would maybe treat people or the way I'd want to be treated, I will give them that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, in this moment, Eva would not agree because she thinks that Vicki is the only conflict at the moment. And she didn't get all the information. She wasn't in the room. Stayed out of it. Yeah. But, basically Dorinda thinks that Vicki should have, stayed out of the whole fight with Tamra, which again, they're friends. Like, that's not how this works. Like, it's not like, that's just not how these games are played.
No.
But yeah. And then she just feels like, she didn't show Dorinda enough respect by not attending the aerobics. Now, come on.
Who cares?
That is not a disrespectful thing. And that's a snub, maybe.
Right.
It might be a little insulting if you want to internalize it that way, but it's like not really that bad, that disrespect.
No. And, she's acting like she worked so hard to put this together. Some staff members put some small trampolines outside. That's all. And then
in her backyard. Yeah.
Did aerobics, which you do.
Yeah.
So
she should be appreciative if there was drama around this, because it means more screen time for the aerobics. If everything went perfectly, that would have been a 4-minute segment like they did with the relay race.
Blip on the radar.
Yeah. So this actually made this aerobics a thing. So she actually got more screen time out of it. So she knows how this works. So Jill now, at this point in the tea party, talks about after 10 years of being a housewife, she doesn't feel like she needs to be in every fight. Now, I've watched these shows. When was Jill a 10-year housewife? When was she on the show for 10 years?
I don't know.
She hasn't been.
I didn't even think about it. But yeah,
she's been in the universe, but I mean, like, I know she's been vying to be on for 10 years, but let's be real. She's been off the show more than she was on the show.
For sure, right? I didn't think about it. But then we have our gorgeous Phaedra. She was like, Vicki's just eating. She goes, "You are so hungry. I love it."
I love Phaedra throughout this episode. Yeah, we haven't talked too much about her yet, but she comes up. I love the looks. And I want to give her a shout out later on something specifically.
Fantastic. I thought she looked amazing doing aerobics. and just doing her own
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally her own thing. And that is like,
doesn't
I
care.
love that about her. Now, when it comes to all the situation with Jill at this tea party, she is complimenting herself, patting herself on the back. I'm staying out of this fight, only to quickly go to Dorinda and say, Tamra really needs a hug. Then she gets up, Tamra, I'm going to give you a big hug. And then she goes, you know what? Dorinda, did you hear that? Did you hear that? You know what? She just told me that she could really use a hug right now. And then so Dorinda goes in for the fakest hug on television. And, it's all because Jill got involved again.
Right. And then, of course, something sets Jill off, and it's just Dorinda's like snide comment. And then all of a sudden, we're in a new world with Jill saying how Dorinda has not been good to her. And I loved that change.
Yes, I want to jump to that. Let's just I want to make sure that I don't have anything else in between. Blah blah blah. What's happening here? Oh yeah, so we can cut right to that. But so it's Taylor and Jill by the pool. They just were like, we're not even going to bother napping. Like, oh, forget it. They need like a minute to themselves. So yeah, what happened here? So apparently Dorinda got emotional about Richard in the car ride back, and then Jill basically said that Dorinda has a lot of displaced anger, and like, peel the curtain back, she really feels like she rolled the red carpet out to be friends with Dorinda, and that Dorinda didn't really reciprocate, basically paraphrasing.
I have so many feelings because, first of all, the Dior sunglasses she was wearing were ridiculous. That's the first feeling. But second of all is Jill makes it seem that she is the friend to have, first of all. So she really thinks she's the catch. And look, maybe she's a great friend. I'm not friends with her. I don't know her. But she really expects a lot of people. And I appreciate that she feels that there could have been a connection with her and Dorinda over their past husbands. I totally understand that, but it's not required. And if you're not super close friends, you're just not super close friends.
That's what it sounds like to me. That Jill thinks that she really gave Dorinda the time after Richard passed, and that kind of Dorinda kicks her down the curb, down the street a little bit, like, all right, yeah, later, I'll see you later. So she used the word dismissive, but basically for me, Jill insinuates that Dorinda is just a user and jealous of her because she's in a relationship. So I think somewhere in the middle is the truth. But I'm always laughing when these women are like, they're just jealous of me and everything that I have and everything that I am,
whatever you have to tell yourself, I guess.
Yeah, that's like the insecurity speaking. And then you got to kind of pull it up. But I think it's kind of somewhere in the middle. But
I do feel bad about Bobby. He was so sweet, and they loved each other. You could tell.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just wondering what Jill means by like, I let a lot of things go. I just like, I'd
like to know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not surprised that she's pulling up this kind of like what seems to be kind of like a non-existent history. Like for Jill, it all comes back to the show. She brought her in for season 4 so she could sit at that event.
Right.
So that's what she discovered Dorinda. And the reason why everyone's there today is because of Jill. Like, it always goes back to the dynamic pre-show and post-show for Jill, in my point of view.
Yes. If we were psychoanalyzing Jill, I'm sure this would go back to her childhood. Like, she needs so much attention. She needs kudos. She needs to be wearing the best. She needs to be getting the best. She needs to be providing the best. She needs to make the most delicious, banana bread with chocolate chips.
Yeah. It's a Jill Zarin rug. It's like, okay. Yep.
She really, there's something going on there.
My mom has a Jill Zarin rug, and a picture of her face is on the bottom of the rug. Of every rug, there's a sticker of Jill Zarin's face.
I love that fact. That's very funny.
Yes.
She needs to be there. It is some sort of a compulsion. She needs to be involved.
Mm-hmm. And I bet if she goes to parties and there's a Jill Zarin rug, she'll flip it over just to show, see,
look, it's Jill Zarin.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure of it.
I passed on the highway yesterday a Zarin Fabrics sign. I was like, oh, she's everywhere.
She's everywhere, even including this house, everywhere, it seems. Now, Prohibition, they asked the women about this, and I loved Brandy's response. Why would you even want to live without alcohol? That should be Brandy's tagline, epitaph, the whole thing.
I mean, how does she exercise is 1, 2, 3. I liked that a lot.
Right.
But it's a misnomer, isn't it? A prohibition party. That means there is no alcohol.
True.
It should have been like a speakeasy party.
Yes. And I knew right away that anything related to speakeasy would be Dorinda's idea, because she's that kind that would just love the idea of opening up a door with like a refrigerator front to it, or like making it look like you're going into a vending machine. Like she's one of those types that would love a speakeasy.
Yes.
I feel like you've done one, you've done them all. You walk behind the wall, there's a bar, it's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really think it's like so great, but I mean, some people just love the idea of like the flappers and all this.
It was a really upsetting time in history, if you think about it. Like, people had just come home from war. They were recovering. It was a time of people having to drink and self-soothe because they had PTSD.
Yeah, it's just a sad time, I guess. I didn't really think about it like that, but yeah.
And
I don't know.
No alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I hate? And I'm glad they didn't say this time, a Gatsby party.
Oh, yeah.
Because has anyone read the book?
No, not these women.
No, well, of course, you make a good point. But in general, people have these Gatsby parties, and it's just like, just say the Roaring 20s, because Gatsby was a tragic figure. The book itself is very good, but it's not a fun romp.
I don't remember much of it, to be honest with you.
Okay, it's fine. If you can always go back to the Leonardo DiCaprio newest version, or Robert Redford in the 70s. That
one was shot in Rhode Island a lot. I know that's still like a popular thing to talk about in Rhode Island from the 70s, but yeah.
I mean, I live in Great Neck, New York. Don't come for me. But I live where F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote Great Gatsby.
Wow, there you go. Motherland.
Yeah, exactly.
Jill would, I mean, I think Dorinda would be very impressed by that. I think that she'd be.
Oh, I'm sure. That'd be my first talking point.
So now we're introduced to Bluestone Manor Bourbon. Again, the brand, just keep going with the brand. And it's a 5-year-old aged bourbon, like not necessarily something for me. I'm more of like a tequila guy. So
I'll try it.
Yeah, I guess when you're there, why not? I wouldn't say no. Unlike Jill, who was like just strict her diet, whatever she's drinking, like she hated it.
She tried it, but her face was, she
hated it.
Oof, hated it so much.
Everybody else seemed to love it, except for, was it maybe Phaedra wasn't too into it? So someone else was kind of like,
it tasted like gas or something, she said.
Now, Vicki, however, flipped the switch. She's into it. She loves it. She can't, according to the edit, she can't get enough of it.
She woke up. That was the moment.
Yes, she does not want to work as much. Apparently, I've just always known her as just being constantly working, and that like she wants peace in her life. And I really got this. She's kind of scared of what's next. She knows, like on the other side of this trip, there's a lot of unknowns. I can relate to this, especially right now, this time in my life. I'm kind of keeping myself busy, but like, there's a lot of stuff on the other side. When the summer kind of wraps, like I'm a little like. So I get that when you have to go back to regular life, like she's going to be alone again. She has to sort out her life once again. And I can understand the fear around that.
Transitions are terrifying. Any which way you look at it. And she just got out of a relationship. Like we mentioned it before, and she clearly wasn't seeing Steve Lodge that much because he was living in Mexico, I guess. But a breakup is devastating. And especially when she was with him for 5 years. So, again, I am giving credit where credit's due. I think she's doing a good job. It's crazy the way alcohol works, especially, I guess, bourbon. I don't really know much about what it does to you separately from other alcohol, but she was so high and she was so low. She went right down to the depths and was so emotional. I've been there.
Yeah, I think it's relatable.
And
I think this moment may change some minds about Vicki, who's only been painted as like a bitch and painted as like miserable, where now they're like, okay, now they're finally, for those who aren't familiar with Vicki, they're like finally seeing the other side to her.
Correct. Yeah.
A burlesque dancer enters the scene. Brandy loved it. Definitely. I think everyone agreed she had like the perfect body. Beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah. And what else happened? Dorinda and Dorinda and Tamra were inspired. I don't know. I guess they were inspired by
To get
because
naked.
to get naked. Yes, yes.
I was so
Dorinda
embarrassed.
Dorinda did not need to come out with her bra like that. It was just not.
That was so embarrassing. It was like, moms, stop. Put
Tamra
your
with
clothes on.
I know, at the dinner table with her underwear out. I mean, I like seeing them have a good time, but like it was a little much. I mean, that bourbon, I don't know how much they had, but
It seemed like a lot. And on top of that, cocktails.
yeah.
I have a question for you though.
Mm-hmm.
Best outfit.
Ooh, that's a really good question. I wanted to ask you this too. What did you think of the looks? I mean, Phaedra, I mentioned her
I said
earlier.
Phaedra. Yes, Phaedra for sure.
Good. Yeah.
She looks, every look is amazing. I also loved Dorinda's outfit. I thought the green was great.
It was a very classy. She did look good in that. Yes. Up until
give her
she took
that.
it off. Yeah. Up until when she took it off.
Yes.
But it looked great. Yeah, it did. It was a good choice. I'm trying to think of like who else. I mean, Vicki tried with the heels.
That she almost fell, and I would have laughed.
Eva was
I feel
Eva very into her outfit. I don't know.
It's fine. I liked Eva's outfit. She's so beautiful. She can't really look bad in anything. She is a model, for goodness sake. But who I didn't care for, Tamra with that Party City outfit.
Yeah, it was not a flattering look for her.
It was
just
Halloween,
to say the least. Yeah, it just wasn't the best look for her. But this was their chance to all wear pants, so they took care. They did it.
Some people did. Exactly.
Yeah. It's a pajama party, according to Brandy, and Jill enters wearing Ralph Lauren, just in case if you were wondering.
I'm wearing Ralph Lauren now.
It's like, very good. We can all do that, most of us, by the way. Like, it's not really any, it's not, is it that fancy?
No.
I feel like I can get that at Macy's, right? I mean, it's not
Ralph
like
Lauren has different levels of, so I think there's like
hers is at the top then.
So she probably has like the purple collection. He has Lauren by Ralph Lauren, and then it goes up and up and up. So yes, Ralph Lauren is good.
Okay, good. I don't know if this was like an end cap at Macy's situation, and we're like, well, okay, Jill, but okay, I'm sure with her it is.
Right. No, she spends the most on everything because she thinks it makes it the best.
Yes. Phaedra is parenting on the phone. Your son's getting his phone taken away from him. And Dorinda and Jill are about to talk about the origin of their friendship. And I was like, this is going to be unstable. And quickly changed because then Brandy wants to turn up. Tamra and Brandy pull in this poor burlesque dancer who's like eating her free meal.
Her free dinner at the table. And she's like, basically like, I'm done for the night.
Yeah.
But I guess we're not.
She came on it. And then Tamra just totally topless. She said, I guess she didn't have pasties on or whatever, but like a mess.
I feel like she knew. I feel like she just, I don't know. I feel like she knew. You know what we didn't talk about though? While the burlesque was going on, Brandy would not leave poor Marco alone. And Marco, turns out, is quite the snack.
Yeah, Marco's fit.
He's cute. That poor guy. I hope he gets a raise. I would like to see more of him. I like when he has a confessional.
Yeah, I'm trying to decipher like what team he plays for on this show. I think he's a straight guy. I think he's straight. I can't really tell.
I don't know, but I think he's funny and I like
There's a lot of patience to deal with this.
So much patience. I don't know why you'd work for one of the Housewives. It seems so soul crushing.
Eva has this radio show that she's been doing. It's 4 hours a day. I don't know how is she doing this? How is she doing this girls trip? Navigating this, smoking weed, and then doing a 4-hour radio show from that little bedroom.
I'm proud of her. She gets it done.
So she's doing this. And then Jill, always up for a guest spot, wants to be on the show. And I think she wants to be on more badly than she is portraying herself.
For sure.
She even wants to sit on the bed to listen just in case if there's a moment for her to jump in.
You think she's going to keep quiet? Absolutely not. Yeah. She's sitting on that bed and she's going, I know something,
Yeah. She'll give a little dirt on the thing. She'll plug the masks with Alli,
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. But Dorinda's response was not commensurate with the request.
Yeah, she scolds her basically in front of everybody. And like, don't tell her that. Don't be bothered with that. Just let her do her thing. Leave her alone. It's like, it was not good. Jill then vents to Phaedra, who's still on the phone, and she says that she felt completely dressed down by Dorinda. And then Dorinda storms over because, she's watching to see where the cameras are going to move next. And Jill just says she's going to bed and goes upstairs. But it continues. Jill is just really upset. Now, what do you think? Is Jill just overtired? Is she really upset? Is this for the cameras?
I have questions, because as soon as Dorinda did that, she said something at the tea that changed Jill. Jill decided, I'm angry with Dorinda. And then Dorinda did this. And she was like, now the gloves are off and I'm going to go after her. I think that's what happened. I wonder, though, if she came into the situation knowing that she had that in the, in the back of her head, where she was like, well, I might fight with Dorinda because she wasn't there for me after Bobby.
I'm wondering now if that scene by the pool was a pickup, because it's awfully convenient that Jill and Taylor talked about Jill's relationship with Dorinda and kind of foreshadowed that things weren't all great and wonderful. And then now we're seeing this play out.
It very well could be.
We know how this stuff is made.
That's true.
Well, Dorinda is, what is it? Jill is upset. She says she's given Dorinda a pass, but doesn't feel supported by her friend. Meaning that Dorinda doesn't support Jill. And I'm like, oh, here we go into you do not support other women. When were these shows ever about supporting other women? Andy Cohen makes sure that they tear each other down. He makes sure that they destroy each other for money, not build each other up.
No, we're not here to do that. We're here to break each other apart.
I'm not saying I agree with that, by the way.
Oh, of course not. But that's not what these shows are. Like in real life.
Yeah.
We support women. You should.
Especially if you're a friend, especially if you're a friend.
You know what I don't like when girls are like, I just get along with guys better. And it's like, well, you suck, I guess. Like girls, then you don't get along with other women. So that's
you do not support other women.
You do not support other women. These gals.
They're in that upstairs, like confessional, like, I don't know what the hell it is. It's like some extra spare bedroom, eaves, attic, I don't know. But Dorinda enters now fully blackout. Like the slurring is, every word is like just one consonant. Like it's just like, I don't know what is happening. She's walking in and she continues to scold and has her finger about 2 inches from Jill's face. And Jill's like visibly upset. And Dorinda takes this as her moment to be drunk, slurring, funny, aggressive Dorinda that she thinks everybody loves. And I don't think a lot of people love this version of Dorinda. We don't on this podcast.
We do not.
No,
she's acting like such a brat at the end of the day. Like if she's not getting what she wants, she's going to wag her finger at you and say that you're not being cooperative and you're doing the wrong thing. And she worked so hard and she made it nice. And I do not care for that. I don't care for that whatsoever.
Not happy about it. Dorinda, Phaedra, Eva, Jill, even Taylor, they're all in this one shot. You just see Dorinda going in on Jill. And I actually felt bad for Jill. Phaedra then interrupts, just yelling, the bourbon is too damn strong. And that's one way to kind of cut through the chaos.
Exactly.
But Dorinda feels betrayed that after all they went through, that this is, that other people are now, having to hear about their relationship, that Jill turned to other people. And I mean, I don't know, it just doesn't sound like they're that close.
No, it sounds like they were sort of friendly because of the show. And then they stopped being friends sort of. And now they're friends again because they have to be. It doesn't sound like they're close.
No, it sounds like they're in the same orbit. Like, I don't think they're like daily friends, weekly friends, but like they're in the same orbit. They're in the Housewives world. They're in the Upper East Side, kind of circles. Like,
right.
That's just kind of the relationship that it is. And I've been guilty of thinking I'm closer to friends than I really am. But I mean, this is just like, I don't know. I just don't think they have that kind of relationship where Dorinda should feel so upset. But here's where Dorinda completely lost me, and where I was like over her very quickly, where she actually bullied Jill, chased her out of that room, called her names, really Jill just total wreck, just trying to get out of there, just trying to flee. And she's stuck in this woman's house with cameras, with drunk Dorinda on her tail. Ugly situation. Not a good look.
She really is a bully. And I know that word is way overused on these shows, but that was bullying behavior for sure.
She did the same thing to Tinsley Mortimer too.
For no reason.
Yeah, this was not a thing. Like, if I were Jill, I would never call her a friend again. Like, that, just to do that and to do that on TV, and it's just so wrong. And I don't know what type of apology is going to come of this, but it's like so stupid at this point. They shouldn't even bother to apologize. I don't think anyone is that sorry for their actions.
No way. No.
Yeah.
They're just they play victims, and they're not sorry.
I'm surprised Jill doesn't get on the phone and call up Gary and be like, "Get bossy, we're out."
Gary, come on.
But I think Jill Jill knows that she can use this for more camera time, so she'll ride it out.
She's been quiet. She's been shocked. Well, not quiet, but she's been shockingly not getting into things.
And she has an advocate. She has an advocate in Vicki.
Mm-hmm.
She has an advocate in Brandy sometimes.
Well, Brandy was talking about Dorinda and saying she was kind of defending Dorinda, I feel. Like, she's like, oh, she gets over things really quick. And it's like, okay, but maybe she shouldn't get under things so quickly either. She has a really... what am I trying to say? She's just like a toxic person, it feels like.
Yeah. Normally I'd say like, well, she's got all these people in her house. It must be stressful. But like, no, these are choices she's making. Like, it's just the way she's speaking to people. It's just, it's not right.
She has no respect for other people. And it just shows. She cares about herself and not really what anyone else is feeling.
Well, on that note, let's get into our final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Should I go first?
Yes, please.
Okay. Again, this episode was for me a breath of fresh air from last week. It gave me everything I wanted. It gave me these petty fights. It gave me drunkenness and slurring and insanity. Marco, I think, is a star coming out of this. I think he really should continue to be assistant to all of these ladies. He can handle it. He colludes with the women. He brings them yogurt. I thought that everything, and again, Phaedra was funny, and I loved her talking to her son. Not that I loved that he was being punished, but I loved seeing her as a mom, and those kids are so adorable, and I liked hearing his little voice.
And we know the sons from the show. So
exactly.
Yeah. I noticed two things. I loved seeing Vicki when they were supposed to be napping with the computer on her lap working. So typical. I can think of so many flashbacks of Vicki working at all these inopportune times and places. And so that's classic Vicki. And looking at the book cover, goes, "Make it nice." That's a lie. She doesn't make it nice. And it's like, that's she's in this woman's home, like so bitchy. But I mean, that's Vicki. And I don't know if I loved it, but did you catch Eva vaping in her room? I'm like, where's that on the sheet? I didn't think
I didn't catch it, but I bet that's not allowed.
I know. I'm surprised. There were only 2 rules that I'm aware of, but I'm surprised that smoking and vaping was not also listed on that placard.
I guess she didn't think she had to, but she did say "mind your manners." That was on the placard, which I didn't like at all.
I don't know. I don't like when people like vape in my house or my apartment or whatever like that. Like, I don't really care for that. So like, I wouldn't like that person.
I wouldn't be mad. I think if it was cigarette smoke, I would be like, how dare you bring that into my home?
Yeah.
Vape, do I like it? No, not really, but you can't smell it. So that's okay with me.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. To me, I just think it's like, at least ask. I think it's presumptuous if you just take it out. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, those are my little observations. So that'll do it. Another episode. I'm enjoying
halfway.
This. Oh, we are. Oh, these women must be so glad to be halfway done at this point. At this point in the recording and the filming, they must be like, "Oh God, let's wrap it up."
They want to go home. They've said it a few times. They're like, "When is this gonna be over?"
Yeah. Well, let's hope that it improves and continues, because I don't know what more I need to see them do. What more is left?
Well, I was thinking that, but also when we watch Housewives, we have God knows how many episodes of
Ugh,
every,
Too many. Too many.
sometimes too many. Sometimes I feel like we just started and then they're over, and I want a reunion, but like, what do we watch them do? Just go to each other's houses. Sometimes there's a party. They go out to eat, which we all really like.
Well, there's more like seasonal storylines, or this
Yeah.
is kind of just like the storyline of the day.
It's so
So-
quick. Yeah, it's a real flash in the pan and they have to
Yeah.
fill every second.
Yeah. Nevertheless, I'm enjoying it. I have no regrets. I'm so glad I watched this and I'm able to do the podcast with you and
Me
share it to the
too.
listeners. So thank you so much for joining the show once again.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to see what's next.
And we'll be back with more rants and rundowns here on Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk Podcast.
This has been Grant's Rant Small Talk. Want more? Join the full conversation on Grant's Rant Hollywood Talk Podcast.